What is up, everybody? I hope everybody is having a wonderful summer. We are here. We've been busy. We've been out enjoying the sunshine, enjoying the beautiful weather. But before I get into today's video, I wanted to remind you to make sure that you are liking and subscribing. These two things help us out so much in getting us noticed, getting us exposure, and having other people see our videos. So if you enjoy the video, like, subscribe, leave us feedback. We love feedback, and we really try to get to all the comments that we can. So if you guys could do those for us, we greatly appreciate it. With that being said, let's talk about today's video. So this fall, I actually drew my very first bull elk tag, and I have every intention of getting after it with my bow. Since I drew that tag, I've really been trying to focus on my gear, what exactly I need, what exactly I still have, and getting stuff dialed in as best as I can before that September 1st opener. And one of those things I've been working on getting dialed is my setup. I've been trying to get it done early. Not as early as I'd like. We've been busy around the house, but I got it dialed, finalized this morning. It's shooting darts. I'm loving my arrow setup. So I figured I would share this setup with you guys and see if you can pick up a few pieces from it for your fall setup, or if you have feedback on what exactly I'm running, questions, comments, those are all appreciated. Leave them down below. But let's get into this. Alright, let's start off by talking about what exactly this video is over. My bow. To start this build off, I'm using a 2014 Prime Rival. It's set at 71 pounds, 30.5-inch draw, and coming in at a mass weight of 7.8 pounds. So I've been shooting this thing since college. I bought it off of Archery Talk, and it was brand new when I bought it, and I have loved this bow. I'm running my 70-pound limbs because I don't necessarily need my 80 pounds for anything special. I'm getting plenty of speed out of my 70-pound, and it's just more enjoyable to shoot. So I'm running my 70-pound limbs, and I'm running a little heavy just because I can, and that's where it tuned best at. On my bow, I'm running some custom strings that I made last summer, and they're BCY 452X material in tan, and they probably have, probably close to 2,000 shots on them, 2,000 to 3,000 shots on them, and they're still holding up nice, taking great care of them. And the BCY 452X material, just a phenomenal material for hunting. It's a Dyneema Vectrin mix, and that's kind of the best of both worlds. You're getting the stability, and you're getting some softness in your shot. In that string, I am running a 3/16 peep, a Rad Super Deuce 38, and I like that 3/16 peep because it lines up perfect with the sight housing that I'm running, and we'll get to that later on. For my D-loop, I'm running a little bit longer D-loop here, and it's BCY number 24 loop material. The reason I'm running it a little bit longer is because I am kind of short on this draw length, and I'm using the loop to gain a little bit more draw length, which it works well enough. It's not necessarily ideal because I'm not necessarily seeing it in string length. I'm making up for it in loop length. Ideally, I would be able to hit it in string length, but this is working. It's shooting great, so I'm just going to leave it and not mess with it. Let's run down here to my stabilizers. For my back bar, I am running a 10-inch Bee Stinger Micro Hex with 6 ounces on it. And the 6 ounces, I was kind of going back and forth between 6 and 7, and this morning I decided that 6 was where it was at. It was the most comfortable. And I did play with the angle of it. I originally started fairly tight to my bow because I wanted to keep it nice and compact, but I realized that as I kind of moved it out a little bit further and removed that ounce of weight, I really dialed it into exactly where I needed it, and this thing is holding rock solid right now. On the front, I'm running a 15-inch Bee Stinger Micro Hex with 3 ounces and a 10-degree down. I really like this 10-degree down because it's giving you a little bit more moment than a straight would, so you're able to run less weight up front along with a 10-degree down. For my rest, I'm running a fairly old Hamskea Hybrid Hunter Pro micro tune, And I'm running a steel launcher on that because I don't like the inconsistencies that I see after getting a lot of shots through one of their launchers with the rubber coating on it. So I've run the steel. I've shot some animals with the steel on there and it hasn't seemed to bother them. I just have to make sure I have a slow, controlled draw. Alright, next let's talk about my sight. What I have going here for a sight is kind of a Frankenstein between a CBE and a Spot Hog. I'm running a CBE Tech Hybrid sight rod with a Spot Hog double pin scope. You can check out the video of me making it. I'll put it up here somewhere. I know I did a video on it, and if you're curious about how I made it happen, go ahead and watch that and hit the like button on it. But the reason I'm running this Tech Hybrid sight rod is I like the fact that it's a rear-facing linear sight tape, and it's on the inside of the rod. So the fact that it's linear is allowing me to take direct caliper measurements of my yardages from my sight tape. It's also allowing me to set my indicators on my sight tape the exact distance as the double pins in my scope. In my scope, I'm running 2 pins because it's the Spot Hog double pin. Top one is green, bottom one is yellow, 10 thousandths fiber. And those fibers are 1/4 of an inch apart, so I just take that 1/4 inch, set my indicators at 1/4 of an inch apart, and I'm running 27 to 45, no problem, with those 2 pins. And that's exactly what I leave it at while I'm hunting. I leave it at 27, leave my top pin at 27, so I basically can shoot anywhere from 0 on up to 45 yards, and that's how I like to cover it. Basically, have that double pin and don't have to dial. On my double pin scope, I'm running the large MRT ring, and this is lining up pretty much perfect with my 3/16 peep sight. In this double pin scope, I haven't necessarily liked the bubble level that they put inside of it. The 2 lines on the level are a fair amount wider than the bubble itself, so this is not always allowing me to find the center easily in this level. So I feel like I'm fighting it a little bit, and I think when I have some time, I'm going to see if I can figure out a different bubble level to put in there. I'm also running an LP Archery sight light, and really it's not that I need it, it's more that I just had it and wanted to use it. The Spot Hog double pin scope, the fibers in it are plenty bright, and I don't need a light on them. But I had this light and it's fairly expensive, so I figured I might as well use it. The only downside to it is the fact that it eats batteries, so I have to keep an eye on it if I'm actually using it, on whether or not the battery is full. On the side here, I'm running a tight spot 5-arrow quiver, and you can see I only have 4 arrows in it right now because I like to practice with 4, not 5 arrows in it. But I have not had any issues with this quiver. One thing I have done to it is I had to clean the rubber grippers after last fall, and that just allowed me to clamp on my micro diameter arrows a lot better. I have actually broke the quiver before at a Total Archery Challenge. I fell right on my bow and snapped the carbon on one side of it, and Tight Spot didn't even hesitate to take care of me on it. I think the way it went is they basically just had me send my quiver in first, and then they sent me a brand new one. It was very, very good customer service, and I don't see myself not shooting a Tight Spot. Let's talk about the second most important part of a bow, the arrow. For an arrow, I'm shooting a 250 spine gold tip Pierce Tour cut at 28 and 13/16. On the front, I'm running a Rage hypodermic no collar, and I actually switched to this year. I never had any issues. I was always running the Tripans. The one thing, well, there was 2 things I didn't like about them. The collars, which is obviously fixed by the no collar, and they also rattled. So they wouldn't necessarily be tight on the collar, so they would rattle in my quiver when I shot. Not really a big deal, but it was just one of those small annoyances. So switch to this no collar. Blades are in there nice and firm. No issues, no rattles. I haven't shot one at an animal yet, but I have shot the original hypodermic, and it just worked flawlessly. And I really like the hypodermic for the aerodynamics and the shape of it. Right behind that, I'm running the gold tip ballistic collar, which when I bought these arrows, I originally did not want to run a ballistic collar just because I think I wanted more speed out of the arrow. My glue-in solutions didn't end up working out as well as I thought they would, so now I'm running the ballistic collar. There are a couple advantages to it. Is it's giving me a more durable front end of my arrow, and it's also adding some front weight, which isn't ever really a bad thing unless you get way too carried away with it. But I think it's like 14 or 17 grains, and it's about just the perfect amount of front weight. On the back end here, I'm running 3 Boning Blazer heat vanes with a Boning Blazer wrap underneath them. Now these heat vanes have been a very, very good switch for me. I was running the Blazers, the standard Blazers, so they're a little bit taller, and I wasn't really getting as much clearance as I wanted to out of those longer ranges. I switched to these, and 3 of these are steering the hypodermics pretty much perfectly. And I'm also getting the clearance at those longer ranges that I was looking for. To cap it off, I'm running a Nocturnal red lighted nock. Now this is something that I've been a little bit hesitant to do, just because the reviews on the micro diameter Nocturnals haven't necessarily been great. And the first 12 that I bought, so far I have 2 that haven't worked. But the ones that do work light up nice and red, and I think it's going to be very beneficial for the footage for you guys this fall. Overall, this arrow is coming in at 466 grains, and they're flying at 289 feet per second out of my bow. Now that is a very good balance between speed and energy and momentum. I feel really confident in these arrows. I have no doubt in my mind that they're going to pass through anything that I shoot them at, as long as I don't make a marginal shot. The release that I'm going to run with this setup is a Stanislavski SX3 Trio. Now I used to shoot the Quattro, which is the 4-finger. This is a 3-finger. And I really felt like the release was just taking up so much of my hand. And one of the main reasons was that the Quattro didn't fit well in a bino harness. So I switched to a 3-finger. It's been very nice. I really enjoyed shooting it. It's nice and crisp, and I can get that nice, clean surprise break that I'm looking for every single time. Well, that's it, everybody. That's what I'm running this fall, and that's what I'm shooting the rest of the summer. I feel really confident in my setup. It's shooting so great right now. Shooting out to 120 this morning and yesterday morning, and it's just shooting darts. But if you guys want to comment down below what you're running this fall, if you have any questions, leave them down below also. And don't forget to like and subscribe on this video. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys on the next one. See ya.